The William W. Backus Hospital in Norwich is home to Eastern Connecticut's premier minimally invasive surgical program, offering the most advanced procedures from robotics to orthopedics. Experience the Backus difference today.
Thank you very much for coming. I am here today to announce the beginning of the transition for the new city government in the City of New London. I am very pleased to announce that a longtime friend of mine, Allyn de Vars, will be serving as transition chairman for the new administration. Mr. de Vars and I met in 2005 when he was a candidate for the New London City Council. I was very impressed by his hard work ethic and his vision for the city at that time. We've remained close friends ever since. He was an integral part of my campaign. He has donated in excess of what I said I would not appoint someone to public office if they donated in excess of a $100 limit. So he himself will not be eligible for appointment in the administration and is doing this merely as a volunteer for the greater good of our community. He is a former board member of New London Landmarks and also a former member of the New London Personnel Board. He is someone of the utmost integrity and ethical standards, and I have entire confidence in his ability to help us manage this complicated transition process which we begin today. I'm also pleased to announce that Zak Leavy, who was the campaign operations manager for Finizio for mayor, will also serve as an executive assistant to me personally during this process. I believe that the transition will go well. I have already spoken this morning to the city law director, Attorney Thomas Londrigan, who has confirmed his earlier legal opinion, which is also my legal opinion, that because this is a new charter and a new government, all positions in the City of New London are technically vacant on December 5th as the new charter takes effect. So even those people who would be kept on in the new administration would need to be reappointed. I expect that all appointments that we intend to make will be made and announced on December 5th on schedule. This is a tight schedule, so we will be working very hard and very long hours to make this happen. I had conversation this morning as well with the city manager, who pledged her complete support, Denise Rose, in the transition process, including access not only to her office, but to all offices of city government. I look forward to working with her and to the outgoing and incoming members of the City Council to effectuate this transition properly. At this time, I would like to also announce that our next press conference will be held on Tuesday at noon of next week, where we will announce a website for people who are interested in applying for jobs in the administration to apply to. We may also have some position announcements made at that time, both in administrative capacities and on my own personal staff, but no other announcements of any positions will be made until Tuesday. Between now and then, we will be setting up the mechanics of the transition and ensuring that we are good to go on schedule and on time. At this time, I would briefly like to introduce both Mr. de Vars and Mr. Leavy to say a brief couple of words, and then I will direct any questions that you might have. First, Mr. de Vars.
Well, I'd like to thank the mayor-elect for this opportunity to serve New London and to bring positive change to New London.
And Mr. Zak Leavy.
I'd like to thank the mayor-elect as well, and it's an honor to help and make in the transition to help the city become better.
Are there any questions?
The question of the referendum. What's your position on it now?
Well, as I believe all of you are well aware, my position was that I was very strongly opposed to selling Riverside Park. In my platform released on January 2nd, I opposed the sale and campaigned vigorously for it throughout the election process. I was proud that the Democratic Town Committee, after the primary, endorsed my position on the sale and endorsed a no vote. I'm very proud of all the work we did, and the vote is still not yet determined. The recount is going on. I believe it has been scheduled for November 16th. I will await the outcome before I speak further to it.
Were you surprised at all beating out, in including of those 5 other opponents, actually 3 sitting city councilors as a newcomer to the city? You know, what are your thoughts when you heard that you did take this race?
Well, all throughout the campaign, we believed that we were getting very strong support throughout the community, and we believed that in the end we would get a good result. but throughout the campaign, we remained aggressive in our efforts, never took anything for granted, and are just very proud that we made it. And now we look forward to moving beyond the political process and into the administrative process. The politics is at an end. It's time to come together as a community and work for the greater good of all the people of the City of New London.
Do you think it reflects the need for change?
I think it's a very strong mandate, and I think it's a very strong call for a new style of leadership in the city. Our campaign outlined very clearly how we would approach hirings, how we would approach city policy. We outlined it all from the very beginning, and I will keep my word on every statement that I've made, position I've taken as to how the transition and administration will move forward.
It seems like a big task because not only are you a new mayor, but there's a new or renewed form of government now coming into the city. Is there any particular challenges you see?
Well, it can be a challenging process, but I worked through a very difficult transition in New York City when I worked for the City Council during the transition from the Giuliani to the Bloomberg administrations, when all of these citywide officials were booted out by term limits, and all but 5 of the 51 City Council members were as well, and a vast portion of the city bureaucracy took retirement. So having been through a transition that posed great challenges, I believe that I'm well prepared to handle the transition at hand here in New London, which I feel the challenges are a little less, and we've been getting very broad support from the existing administration and existing members of the council and new members of the council, and I believe that together we'll be able to cooperatively work for the greater good of the entire city. Kathleen?
Allyn and Zak, are they temporary positions?
Mr. de Vars will be transition chairman through the inauguration on December 5th, at which time he will continue on only as a political advisor, but will hold no role in the administration as he is ineligible to that. Mr. Leavy is eligible for potential service in the administration, but no final position has been determined at this time.
And the positions that are open, you said all positions are open?
All positions in city government.
Everything?
Any position that would require mayoral appointment under the new charter.
Department heads?
Every single one.
And are you, and this is kind of technical, is your office going to be where the city manager's office is, or have you gone that
We have not gone that far yet. One of the reasons why we are not making any announcement of appointments or even beginning to accept resumes at this time is because there are so many different mechanics on a basic level that need to be worked out because this is an entirely new position. Where the office will be, what exact new positions are defined as. Some of these positions are changing in their very nature under the new charter. So we want to make sure that we have a full blueprint of everything, the basics down, before we begin the process of even accepting applications. But we expect that that initial work will be done by Monday at the latest, and that we will be prepared to make further announcements on specific timelines and perhaps some appointments starting on Tuesday.
Okay, and then on the 5th, is that when you get sworn in, when the rest of the council gets sworn in?
Yes, it is.
December.
Should any longtime city department heads be worried about their jobs?
No, I believe that everyone should realize that we committed ourselves to a nonpartisan, merit-based process, and the determination of which positions are reappointed, which positions are filled anew, will be totally based on matters of policy. Every single person serving in the city government has every right to apply to continue their service or to seek new service in a different position, and anyone from the community is welcome to apply as well. There are no axes to grind, there are no favors owed. This will be a completely merit-based process.
And will you have to depend on folks who have been in government for a while, as well as to, I guess, looking at and evaluating people as a newcomer?
I believe that some people will stay and some new people will come in. It will be a mix of new and old, but it will be a government that is diverse, a government that reflects our diverse community, and a government that will make our community proud. I intend to appoint people to office that I believe are the best qualified people to serve in these offices. Throughout the course of this election, I said many times that one of the significant issues before us in this race was the fact that so many of these positions are appointed by the mayor without council approval. There is no advising consent. So I take this appointment process very, very seriously, because once the appointment is made, the appointment is completed.
Have you heard from the chief yet? Is she staying on?
I will say that I spoke to the chief of police immediately following my victory party. I went directly to her house and expressed the same interest to her that I expressed publicly so often during the campaign, that it is my desire that she stays. She, of course, as others, will need some time to evaluate their current situation. We will have ongoing conversations with her, and a determination should be made shortly about that position.
And you're...
Why do you say shortly?
It's my intent that the positions related to public safety, I committed on January 6th that it was my intention to keep both the fire chief and the police chief if elected. I believe that they're both doing an excellent job. I believe that these are critical positions and that the people of New London need to know that our public safety apparatus is fully functional and enjoys the confidence of the new administration. But obviously the chief has ongoing situations that she's evaluating, the retirement offer that she has currently, other proceedings that are currently going on, of which you are well aware, and I believe that she just wants to evaluate where everything sits before she makes any final commitment. I think that's fully understandable. I told her that she can have as much time as she requires, but that it's my desire to move sooner rather than later, if possible, if she desires to stay, so that that question does not remain open for very long. But I make it very clear that in the campaign, I very clearly supported her in her policies and said I would seek to retain her, and it was the first thing I did after learning of my election.
And the chief of staff position, is that what it's being called? Is it called the chief of staff?
Well, it's technically under the charter called the Chief Administrative Officer, but most people refer to it as the Chief of Staff. They are one and the same.
Okay.
That will be one of the most significant appointments made, and I will take all deliberate actions necessary to make sure that the best person is hired for that position.
Okay. And when does that announcement come?
I have no timeline yet for that appointment.